Hello and welcome to Stories and Innovation in ALS. My name is Lisa Deegan and I'm joined today by my co-host, McFinn. We help found everythingals.org along with a team of people who are affected by or living with ALS. We're changing the paradigm in ALS, helping to accelerate treatments by bringing together AI technology and industry experts to collaborate on our citizen-led research for digital biomarker measurement in clinical trials. This podcast brings together stories of those affected by ALS and those working on treatments, care, innovation, and advocacy for this debilitating disease. Today's episode, Not Going Quietly, shares Ady Barkan and his wife, Rachael King's journey with ALS. Ady is a lawyer and political healthcare activist who is fighting for healthcare justice for all and for himself. Ady was diagnosed with ALS in 2016 at the young age of 32 and had just become a father. Ady is joined today with his wife, Rachael King, who is a professor, caregiver, and mother to their two adorable children, Carl and Willow. Ady and Rachael, thank you so much for being here today. We are so honored and appreciate you taking precious time out of your day to share your story with us. It's so important to spread awareness on this disease, not only the need for effective treatments, but also highlighting the need for affordable healthcare and the option to have care from home. Ady, your heroic advocacy efforts have been an inspiration to us all, and you're lucky to have Rachael by your side. So welcome, Ady and Rachael.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
I would like to welcome you too, Ady and Rachael. Thank you so much for everything you're doing, and spending your time with us today is so important. So let's get into it. Tell us about, Ady, please tell us about how ALS touched your life and give a few examples about how long ago you were diagnosed. And are there any other family members who might have ALS?
Thanks for having us on today. I appreciate the work that you're doing for this community. Rachael and I had just brought home our newborn baby 4 months earlier, and then overnight, our lives changed again. My left hand began to grow weak, and so I went to the doctor to get it checked up, thinking that it was an onset of carpal tunnel syndrome from holding our baby too much. Instead, I was diagnosed with ALS and told I had 3 to 4 years left to live. Today I am nearly completely paralyzed and am typing these words using technology that follows the movement of my eyes. I can no longer eat, speak, or breathe on my own. I am fed through a small hole in my belly. I'm hooked up to a ventilator 24 hours a day and rely on a team of caregivers to stay alive and at home.
Wow. Ady, your documentary was so powerful. I watched it. It's called Not Going Quietly, which was about your 6-week, 22-state road trip that you embarked on using your political and social justice experience to advocate and hit hard at Washington for affordable health care. I was so moved by your tenacity and strength. And I lost my younger brother to ALS in 2018. So being a mom and having gone through this journey with my brother, I basically had a steady stream of tears throughout the majority of the documentary. So I just had to share that with you. But I want to know what gives you, Ady, strength to be such a force in activism while battling ALS, and what inspired you to make this documentary that was released last year.
Thank you for saying that. I agreed to do this documentary because I want my kids to know who I am. I want them to know that I love them, and I cherish the life they will live, and the world they will create for themselves. I also thought the movie could provide a useful tool for the progressive movement. This movie is about my family, but it's also about the millions of Americans who came together during the Trump presidency to preserve our democracy. By showing the work of myself and others in the movement, I hoped we could inspire more people to also become involved in the fight for a more just nation.
Wow, it was really awesome, and I everybody should watch it. So you're fighting for more than just the healthcare system. You're fighting for care and dignity that everybody deserves. So you started Be a Hero, which is people-powered organization using the power of storytelling for those who have been impacted by our healthcare system due to an illness. So Ady, tell us about this movement and why you started it, what changed for good because of your organization.
My story went viral after confronting then Senator Jeff Flake on an airplane. The Republicans were about to vote on the GOP tax scam and gut the Affordable Care Act. So I asked him why he thought a dying man didn't deserve health care. After gaining national media attention, I realized how much public support there was for health justice. Liz and I saw that we could build on this momentum to grow a movement to win guaranteed health care for all. And that's how Be a Hero got its start. Since then, Be a Hero has accomplished some big things. We secured President Biden's commitment to make sure that the US would not block other countries from accessing critical COVID-19 vaccine technology. We worked to expand access to affordable health care in Colorado and Nevada by fighting for a public option. And we've been working with partners in the disability and health justice spaces to ask that Congress fully fund home and community-based services so that everyone can get the life-saving care they need at home.
Amazing.
Thank you. That is, Ady, everybody is giving their little bit, and your little bit is growing because of the effort that you're putting forth today. And so I want to talk to you about you're advocating for novel healthcare solutions through citizen-driven advocacy. And that's similar to us at Everything ALS, because we're trying to provide citizen-driven research to accelerate treatments for ALS. I'm curious about your viewpoint on how we as a community and as advocates can drive research and treatments forward with citizen-driven research like we're doing at Everything ALS.
Our politicians owe it to us to create policy that centers our lived experiences. Like we say in the disability justice community, nothing about us, without us. While we must continue to demand funding for research and treatments, we must at the same time insist that our policymakers include members of our community in making the decisions that affect our lives.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's amazing. So having gone through this journey with my brother, as I mentioned, I understand that ALS takes a village of caregivers, medical professionals, support systems, equipment, you name it. What are some of the biggest challenges that you've had to face while having ALS?
ALS is the story of things becoming impossible. This disease has altered every aspect of my life. Being able to communicate quickly and freely is one of the biggest challenges I face daily. I communicate using miraculous technology that follows the movement of my eyes, which are the one body part that I am still able to control well. This technology takes painstaking effort, which means that there are countless things I want to say every day, but I don't get to because it takes too long and too much effort. But the difference between communicating slowly and not at all is everything, and I'm grateful for it.
I 100% understand that, going through this with my brother. So I can say I get that. I feel I'm forever changed because of our family's experience. And I learned firsthand how short life really is, and to make each day count and really be thankful for what we have. Rachael, I'm sure there's a lot of things you could say about this, but how has ALS changed your life?
Yeah, I mean, like Ady said, ALS has really changed every aspect of our lives. But, I think the one that we probably think about the most or has the most day-to-day impact is the kind of interaction with the kids and the split between parenting roles. We sort of got put into a very traditional parenting situation where, I, as the mom, do almost 100% of the parenting, and I do, almost all of the kind of planning and communicating with teachers and all that sort of thing. Ady's able to do some things, and we try to make sure he can, like a couple times a week, he'll go with a caretaker and pick up our daughter from daycare, or like this afternoon, pick up our son from his after school program and go do an activity with him. So, he does as much as he can, but of course it's really tricky. And, again, like our with the communication, our son is very verbal and loves to kind of play around with nonsense words and sing songs where he's switching up the lyrics and creating little jokes. And, of course it's wonderful to have him do that, but it's also, I know it's really hard for Ady to not be able to participate in that and to have that kind of really, fast back and forth verbal interaction with him.
I get that.
Yeah, the kids are so important. Just them to see both of you loving each other. I mean, that is a great example of what they're going to grow up to know. My mom and dad, they loved each other, and my mom and dad loved each other too. And so that's all I remember in my life, that life is good and we should love each other. And so, Ady, can you tell us a little bit about your support system and your heroes, the people who really made that difference in your life?
I have a brilliant team of caregivers who work around the clock to keep me safe and allow me to live my beautiful and full life. My caregivers make it possible for me to be here today in conversation with you, as well as participate in my family's life and fight for health justice with my team at Be a Hero. My heroes are those that are working to restore our democracy and those that are fighting injustices in their communities in order to build a more just nation.
Well, thank you, because those are the efforts, one by one. Each of us might be small, but together we have a big voice, and your voice is tremendous, Ady. So thank you. And Rachael, being a support that you are, do you have caregiving help? Are you the only caregiver for Ady?
Yeah, since Ady had his tracheostomy surgery, which was about 2.5 years ago now, he has had full-time 24-hour care. So we have actually a team of 6 caregivers who switch in and out, and they're wonderful and are incredible help to me. There's no way I would be able to have a full-time job, and take care of the kids and take care of Ady. I can't lift him, for one thing. So, if we didn't have that, he wouldn't be able to live at home with us. He'd probably have to go live in a skilled nursing institution. So yeah, I mean, that is just crucial for us to have the caregiving help. And I think anytime we talk about ALS, we want to really talk about the caregivers who are there for us, because they do incredible work. And for so many people, that's really inaccessible because it's not paid for. It's not covered by most health insurance plans. So we were able to get our health insurance to cover it, which is why we're able to do that. But most people don't have that kind of coverage through their health insurance. And it's, it's this bizarre situation, like a lot of healthcare and childcare in America, where it's incredibly expensive for the patient and the caregivers themselves are really underpaid. So, we, again, because we are able to have this coverage through our health insurance, we're able to offer a living wage to our caregivers, but it's such a broken system in terms of people being able to stay at home with their families.
I so get that. I actually managed a team of 8 caregivers for my brother who he was not married. So I had to manage 24/7 care around the clock and people canceling, and we just paid out of pocket for him. Luckily he could afford that. So that's awesome. You have a team surrounding you and can pay them for that. So as a mom, Rachel, I spend a lot of my day working towards our mission with Everything ALS, honoring those who are currently battling ALS and to honor the ones that we lost because of it. So being a mom requires such a juggling act. As you know, we're like the best multitasker. So how do you balance your personal, your professional life? You're a mom, a wife, a caregiver, a professor. How do you do it all?
Um,
How are you Superwoman?
that I do all the time. I think, a lot of times things fall through the cracks and I don't get to everything. I mean, in addition, of course, to Ady's caregiving team, we have great childcare as well. Our daughter goes to daycare, so she has a really wonderful, which is the same daycare that our son went to until he went to kindergarten.
Okay.
So she has wonderful teachers there who she loves. And our son's in kindergarten. So, we do have childcare, of course, but I think there's plenty of times where I feel like I'm just not getting to everything. And, I try to, I don't, for partly because I can't, but I don't work in the evenings, I don't work on the weekends, so I try to make sure that, those are family times. And sometimes teaching and writing and all the rest of it, it is incredibly hectic. But I think we try to have some downtime as well and make sure that it's not all going 100% or 150% if that were possible.
That's so smart. That's really smart. Yeah. Got to take time to smell the roses sometimes, right?
And thank you for doing it. It's so important that you really realize that you are so important. When you look in the mirror and you wink at yourself and say, I got to take care of myself. I am very important. And thank you. I know the loving care that my wife gave me. I can see that you have that loving care also. Ady, have you participated in any clinical trials or treatments? And if so, have they slowed your progression at all?
I went to Japan to get edaravone a few months after I was diagnosed, and before it was approved by the FDA. I was on it for a couple years, but I don't think that it did anything to slow down my disease progression.
Thank you for taking that effort to do that, because there's so many other people who will hear about that and they will maybe try to go do it, but maybe you have saved them a lot of steps. I know that we're all different, but there's a lot of similarities.
Ady, you have accomplished so much. You are such a warrior and you are creating such a great legacy, and you have a ton to be proud of. And I'm sure your family and Rachel and your friends are all so very proud of you. What are you most proud of? And what life lessons have you learned throughout your ALS journey?
I'm most proud of the diverse movement we build for health justice. I found great joy and meaning in the struggle for justice, even as ALS has paralyzed my body. Being part of the movement for justice has given me purpose, a community, and the chance to nudge our society in the right direction. It's allowed me to transcend my dying body and find personal liberation. And I honestly don't think those things are just for me. That purpose, that opportunity to give back, those are things available to everyone who becomes part of the fight for a more just society.
Say thank you for that statement, because that's so deep.
I know. You guys are truly amazing human beings. And I'm so glad we got the chance to talk with you today, really. So being a mom and caring for others, we have to stay healthy and hold up the fort. So Rachel, I'm curious, how do you keep your spirits up and your strength throughout the journey? Because I know it's challenging. So I just want to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge, and there are ups and downs and good days and bad days, and I think that's true for everyone. I think that for me, it's really important to make sure to take time to, not do caregiving and not do parenting, and whether that's going out to dinner with a friend, or just trying to exercise, but just to have moments where it's not just about sort of taking care of other people. But we have a really wonderful community here in Santa Barbara. Our neighbors, our friends are really supportive, and so we have a lot of people around who want to help out and are really important for keeping up our spirits. Definitely.
I think that's key. It's the relationships and the community and the family and the friends that really keep you going. So you are blessed to have all of that.
Rachel, do you have any of your personal family in the area?
My sister is in Oakland, so she's a few hours away, and she comes down pretty regularly, like at least once a month. She'll come for a weekend or something like that. And next at the end of this month, I'm supposed to go to a conference in Baltimore, so she's coming to watch the kids while I'm away. My mom is in Rhode Island, which is where I grew up. So she's not close by, but Ady's mom is in Pasadena, so that's pretty close as well, a couple hours away. So we have some family around, but even though we're not from here, we've just been able to find a really great community in Santa Barbara as well.
Well, if I would have met you guys before, I would have knocked on your door and said hello, because I have a friend who lives in Santa Barbara, pretty close to you, I think. Yeah, it would have been fun. I would have knocked on the door and said, hi, remember me? We talked on a podcast. Yeah, it's a great area.
That's because Rachel and Ady, we really feel connected as an extended family with all of the people who are affected by ALS and all the people who are caring for them and their family, because we know that everybody is affected, and it's a daily thing. It's not monthly or yearly. This is in the moment right now. And so some of the technologies that have come along have really helped out to make this all possible. So the eye gaze technology combined with speech generating devices, it's a game changer, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Ady's often said that he doesn't know if he would be able to sort of go on, being fully paralyzed without having access to that kind of communication. The other alternative is things like, answering yes and no questions by blinking in particular ways, which he does as well. But it allows him to keep doing his work, to talk with our kids, to talk with his friends, and to continue being a part of this community in a way that would be really difficult otherwise.
There's definitely an unspoken bond that people who have gone through this or are currently going through it, that they have, because I feel so much for what you guys are going through, having gone through it, like really like living, not the one having it, but when it's a family disease. It's not just the person who has it, but it affects everybody. So I want to know, like, how can we help you guys? I mean, what could we do that would make you guys smile or be helpful to you in your lives?
Our stories are the most effective and powerful tools for change. Be a Hero is always looking to uplift your healthcare stories, so if you are able to, please share your story with me. DM me on Twitter at Ady Barkan. Thank you for your conversation and work in advancing treatments for people with ALS. We appreciate all that you do.
Yeah, I think making these connections is really important, and it is a really big benefit to the ALS community. So I think we really appreciate this work.
Well, we appreciate you guys fighting for everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Rachel, are you the technical person behind eye gaze? Do you recalibrate it or Do you have
No,
help?
Ady does most of it himself. Yeah, I mean, sometimes he'll need people to restart his tablet, so the tablet that's sort of connected to the eye gaze. But no, he does most of it himself. Yeah.
Well, you guys are a beautiful couple and you're beautiful people, and you have been shining a light, helping others, and not sitting feeling, just sorry for yourself. You're taking action and making a difference, and you really are creating a wonderful legacy. So it's been an honor to be able to talk to both of you. And Rachael, I have all the utmost respect for your role, because being a mom and having a family member who is battling this it's a tough role, and I get it. So we're just thankful that you guys do what you do, and keep on keeping on, because we're behind you.
100% to both of you, and to your lovely children, and to all your caretakers, because you all have a village, and you just opened the gate and you let us in. And we just want to say thank you so much, because all of the little tricks and treats that you have, they are needed for everybody else. So thank you for sharing your life. And we love sharing our life with you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, you guys.
Thank
Have a
you.
wonderful
Well.
day.
Thanks.
Thank you, Ady. And a new day is every day. So to you folks, blessings to you, your children, and everyone that you love in life, because you are loved.
And I'm sending you both a virtual hug.
Yeah.
I'm
Me
squeezing
too.
you.
All right. Bye.
Bye for now. Thanks for joining us in our journey of exploration and digging deep into the souls of those affected by ALS and those working tirelessly to help put an end to this devastating disease. Your stories and work matter so much to us and to so many. Keep sharing and continuing to help further the research in ALS, so we don't have to see another person suffer. Do you know of anyone who suffers from ALS? Are you a researcher, neurologist, pharma, or biotech company working in the ALS space? If so, we would love to hear from you. For more information, please visit us at everythingals.org, or you can contact us at info@everythingals.org. Thank you, folks.